week to week, minute by minute. I don't know. You guys pick. He's getting better. So.
Have you ruled out the weekend?
I wouldn't say entirely, but we'll just keep it day to day. You might see him, you might not. I don't know. But he's getting better. That's the most important thing.
What that's saying is you haven't ruled him out. He officially has not been ruled out.
No, it's kind of a tricky one, right? Might he be able to? Yes. Depends what we choose to do. How about that?
Fans really want detailed injury reports for.
Well, that's what they're going to get. Go day to day. You might see him, you might not. I don't know. That's. I'm trying to be as honest as I can without.
Right. Yeah. They don't always get better.
Nope. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I tried. We did our job.
So you can pick day to day, hour to hour, minute by minute. Take your pick.
Oh, I like Bruce's last. It's somewhere in between day and day and week to week.
Yeah, that's what you said. That's what you said. So that's what I said.
Okay, that's good.
That's what I said.
Throw minute by minute in there. That'll-
Yeah, there's a possibility, but I'm not sure yet. I want to see how he keeps progressing, right? So that's why I keep going. That's why I'm going to go to day, right?
Are you at a point like in the season where you don't want to like put someone out there this weekend and jeopardize their availability
Sure.
for the playoffs and such? Is that any-
I don't think it. I don't think it matters what time of the year it is. I mean, I think whenever you're dealing with injuries, you got to make sure that number one, they're healthy enough to play. Number two, mentally they're ready to play. And I think those are the second part's probably bigger than the first part because guys play with injuries sometimes. But just making sure that they're mentally ready, and whether it's through having 2-3 days of practice, right? Just knowing that they're in a good spot, and that's never going to put anybody in harm's way, right? I don't care if it is the playoffs, right? There's some guys that have a higher pain tolerance than others. So there's a lot of things that go into it, but we talk a lot with Suze and Cass and the player. I mean, the player has a say in this too, right?
Is Trevor Stashak, is he coming? Is he still out?
Who?
How do you pronounce his name?
Yeah, he's not. He's
I had
out.
to say his name for so long.
Yeah.
Is he going to come back?
No, he can't start skating till April.
Oh, okay. So he's officially-
Yeah.
What impact do you feel not having Sam out there on Saturday have?
Well, 5-on-5, I thought we were all right. We had one bad period, awful period, but it was fine until the major, and the game got away. 5-on-5 all weekend, it was pretty even, right? And that was really it. So it's hard to say. Anytime you lose a key player, right? It's opportunities for other guys to step up and play, and I thought we were fine. And then the game got away from us with a 5-minute power play.
The penalty kill, what do you need to see from those guys besides just keeping the puck?
Just keep working. Just keep working on it. You can overblow this. I mean, 3 of the goals went short side, right? So you're going to give up shots, And again, this isn't on Napper. They went in. You can do everything right, and those are things sometimes that happen, right? So it's got to keep working. And number one, don't take penalties. Like those have been killing us. I think we. You can probably find out, Bruce, but I thought it was like the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th goals we've given up on major penalties this year.
7 in the last 3.
So,
8 total, 7 in the last 3.
but yeah, it wasn't a great penalty, and they made us pay, and that's so you got to get back, and hopefully next time they get in those situations, we get a stop or we do something to prevent that. But you're going to give up something. And you try to give up something, right? So, because you can't stop everything.
You guys took the 5 changes in the first half. You've only had 2 since break, which is kind of talking. That's
But they've been painful, haven't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the fact that you guys get scored on, that almost
Yeah.
magnifies these majors. But otherwise, you guys seem to have solved that problem. The thought of not taking those buses.
Yeah, well, the 2 that we've taken have cost us games. So, don't take them. Don't put yourself in that position. I know they're going to happen sometimes. There might be like a collision, and it might be a knee on knee where you get a kneeing thing. But again, you gotta be smarter, and you gotta make sure that you don't put yourself in those type of compromising situations. That's all. You got to have some discipline there. And again, this is not just Jack doesn't go and do egregious things, right? It happened. He was being aggressive. If it's any player, they probably want it back. I'm not mad at Jack, right? I hope they learn from it, and just like our team does, and we don't put ourselves in those positions again. Do I think it's going to happen again at some point? Maybe. I hope it doesn't, but we're not going around looking to blow guys up from behind. So it happened, and we didn't do the job, and it cost us a game, and that's really the end of it. So you move on.
Miami this weekend was on from watching them the last couple of weeks when that opportunities. So stop playing hard.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very tough series, right? Very tough series. And if we're not in the right mindset for it, it'll be even tougher. If we're in a good mindset, where we got to play hard and desperate, and like these are the last 2 games of the year, some type of mindset where you got to give everything, or if we just think we're going to show up, they're going to get their first win or maybe their second win in the league. It's going to be tough. Every game is tough. I mean, we were down 2-0 to them in their building on Saturday after a pretty good Friday, and we had to score 6 or 7 goals. Luckily, we did, but it wasn't a good start. So it's no different than any team you're playing. I mean, we can sit and wallow around about last weekend, but you got to move on. You got 4 games left, and you gotta get better. You got to get better, and hopefully that happens.
I talked to their coach yesterday, and it got me thinking. This is his first college head coaching job, Anthony Green. And it kind of reminds me where they're at, where you were at here when you took over the serve. Based on your experience in building this program, what advice would you give him as he tries to build
Hey, I don't need to give anybody advice. We're just trying to find it. We need to find out we can win hockey games here. I'm sorry. You stay with it. You have a plan. You go in there. I mean, truthfully, you stay with it. He's going to do a good job. He's already got a lot of good recruits coming in there. He's been in the USHL world. He knows the market. He's got some European players, Russian players coming and their team plays hard. Sooner or later you keep doing it, and you're going to get rewarded. And I just hope it's not this weekend. And if it is, good for them. Then they've probably played pretty well. And they played well in a lot of games and didn't get a bounce or didn't get a break. So, again, you keep working to do that. But they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
What does senior night mean to you?
Oh, it's always hard. It's always hard, especially when you're not playing here in the playoffs. It's always hard to see guys play their last games here. So there's always that sad feeling, kind of, right? You want to win the games for those guys so that they remember that too. And it's always you're gonna say goodbye to some guys that obviously some of these guys have been here for 4 years. Obviously Joe's 1 year, but you build relationships with those players. Some good, some bad. But you do build relationships, and they're like your kids. And you know what? Pretty soon they're leaving. They're going on to something else, and they're not part of your program. And some have had a major impact, and some have had impacts, maybe, I want to say major. They all have impacts in different ways, and they all bring something to this program over their time here. And so they've all had a value to this program, and you know, it's funny because you go to the next year going, God, I wish we still had him, right? It's every year. There's always a guy or two where you, God, I wish he was still here, or blah, blah, blah. And that's the relationship you build with the players, and hopefully they feel the same way, that it's, you know, it's been a good experience for them, and, you know, hopefully they can finish it off with a good weekend here and a good run in, you know, our goal is to get to St. Paul. Be great for them, you know, then you got a chance. That's the goal right now of the 8 teams that are, you know, going to be in the playoffs, right? Some are going to move on. Some know that. There's only a couple that for sure know they're probably moving on, but everybody else is in the same boat. So if there's 8 teams and only 2 are in that pairwise, for sure, there's teams playing for their lives, and we're no different. Doesn't matter what your record is. You got to play, and you got to find a way here in the next 3-4 games to build more confidence, to win some games, play the game the right way, play maybe how you need to play to win games moving forward, and hopefully get to St. Paul, and then you got to win 2 games, and then you can keep playing.
A few hours from now, Ron Waters is going to go to this building and try to get back to the state high school hockey tournament. What's it meant to see the rise, not just for them, but also Rockridge here, what they've developed?
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, they've had a good, that group of kids is won, right, in Hibbing, so it's good to see them have that opportunity. I mean, obviously Niski's done a great job at Rockridge, so I've been impressed with their team over the couple years, you know, so it's nice to see some different teams, I guess. But yeah, they should be good games. I'm not, if you're asking me to pick somebody, I'm not picking anybody, but it'd be nice. I mean, it's been a long time since Hibbing's been in the state tournament. Okay, for that matter too, right? And if it ends up being Rockridge, kind of a newer program that gets there, that's pretty cool too. I'm all for the 2-on-8 teams, I can tell you that. So
Not just the range.
I'm a 2-on-8er. Yeah, I'm a 2-on-8er. I'm not afraid to say that.
Were there things you saw in Niski that you thought, hey, this is a guy that could be a successful coach at some level in the
No.
future in his playing days?
No, he's just a good person, you know, quieter, you know, very very focused, you know. I think he's a guy, loved his hunting and fishing, so that's why I like Niski. But yeah, just, you know, had that, just the way he played, right? He had a presence with the way he played. He had a lot of poise. So not really as far as like, oh, he can be a coach. I mean, I know he spent a lot of time with Keith, you know, and Hendrickson. You know, Keith was his coach, and I think Keith was a great mentor for him too, as far as the coaching side of it. He probably got more from Keith, right? Because they were in Virginia for 3+ years together. You know, they were pretty close. So Keith would probably answer that better than me.
Keats gets the credit for developing Niski as the coach.
I would probably say, yeah. I mean, he was around him a lot. Those guys spent a lot of time, and I think they were very close, right? I think they hunted, fished. I don't know.
Niski kind of disappeared in the woods, it sounded like, after his
Yeah, good. Smart man. No, I expect it to be good. I asked Brant, I go, hey, Nick, who's going to win? He goes, someone's going to win by 2. That's what he said, so I'll go with that one. No, it'd be nice, you know. I mean, I know what it means to, you know, the smaller communities, you know, just like it's been a lot to Hermantown, getting there all the time. I mean, so it's nice that, you know, if it's Hibbing's opportunity or Cloquet's, it's been a while for those teams. So I'm sure those communities are excited because that's what this is about. And it's what those kids play for, right? You want to get down to the X. So all those teams have an opportunity, and, you know, in Hibbing's case, they got some younger players that could have more than just this opportunity moving forward. So I'm hoping they're good games, right? Should be. Should be pretty evenly matched.
Back to your team for a second. You talked about the importance of mentally being ready for this weekend. weekend, how would you assess where your team is at in these last 12 practices?
Well, I didn't go out Monday. We just had a skills day. Yesterday they were fine. I don't know. Ask me tomorrow. It's not a time. This isn't about rah-rah stuff. I mean, you got to either dig down and play. And again, like I said, we can sit and wallow around about last weekend, but there's still a lot of good things we did. It's like the weekend before, right? We played a good Arizona State team, and we go to overtime twice, and you get a win and a tie. And these games, Friday could have went either way, and Saturday we had one bad period. So I mean, it's not like we played 120 minutes of poor hockey. So just got to clean up some things, and you got to put things behind you, and you got to go back to work. You got to fight. It's easy when you're winning. And some of the same stuff creeps up when you're winning. You guys don't even know that, right? Some of the same problems, right? But it's just masked because you win a game, right? And when you lose, everything becomes magnified. Every detail, every goal, everything, it's just like, right? And so, again, you keep going back and go, what are we doing well? What can we do better? Can we do this better? Yeah. But you're doing that every week. Every week. It doesn't change week to week. But at this time of the year, and I've said this to our team the whole second half is like playoffs. The intensity is higher, the emotions are higher, it's the hockey's better. It's all a build up to the end of the year and when you get into the playoffs. And so we've got 4 more games, right, to keep building, hopefully string some wins together, but keep getting better and hopefully stay healthy and get some, I don't know, maybe internal confidence, right? Again, well played, right? I mean, you're going to go through ups and downs. There's only 2 ways, right? You can quit or you can keep fighting. This group will keep fighting.
Right. For a second, what about this group what sticks out about this senior group that has impacted you most personally?
Well, I mean, it's a group that, number one, hasn't all been together. I mean, some guys have missed because of injury. I mean, Dom missed a whole year. I mean, Joe's only been here 1 year. I mean, Basti was a transfer, so it's been a little bit of a hodgepodge in that way, right? I think, and again, there's some that have had major impacts. I mean, Dom's been he's an important piece of our team. Gally's had a good career here, right? Last year, like we talked about, his 30 points. I think this year points aren't there, but he's still doing some really good things. And it's just, I don't get caught up in the points, right? But so they've all had different impacts. I mean, I wish they could have won more. Their first year, they won a playoff championship and got to a regional final, and since then, we haven't been close, and that's the disappointing part. And so hopefully they find it within themselves too to fight here to the end and be good leaders and help us get to St. Paul, and because that's our goal. That's our goal right now. And if we get there, maybe they can win another one and extend their season. That's what we have to cling to. We ain't getting home ice, not winning the league, And we got a little pride here. We don't want to finish in 8th. We want to win some games here and hope, not have it come down to St. Cloud playing for 7th or 8th, right? So there's a lot to play for. There's a lot to play for. It might not seem like that to people, but there's a lot to play for. So that's probably what I said yesterday. There's a lot to play for. And if you don't have that in your head mentally, then it won't go well. If you want to keep fighting and understand that there's a goal at the end of this, which would be to get to St. Paul, we'll see. We'll see. And this weekend is going to be no easy task at all. It's going to be probably harder than last weekend, in my opinion, which is good.
Scott, visit deadline coming up on the House settlement to opt in or out. I'm wondering your thoughts on the teams that opt in. They have a roster limit of 26.
Be fine with it, yeah.
Scholarship. 26. What do you think about that?
26 scholarships?
26. Your roster would be capped.
That's what we've been most of the time.
Right. Yeah.
This year we had 27 with Will. right? Yeah, we've talked about it. I've made a full decision on what we're going to do, but I'm hoping that we will soon. And if we opt in, I don't know if we'll ever get to 26, not right away, but we're kind of going through that with discussion and a plan, and if we do this, how are we going to do that? If we do this, what can we do if we're not getting more scholarships, what can we do, right? So there's two options, absolutely, but we're discussing that. So you'll know soon enough.
I was gonna say, it looked like a few years, while there was the pandemic year where you had the influx of fifth years, but otherwise, I think really the ones that you went over was having a.
We only have 28 stalls. That might tell you something. And one of them's for Hoagie.
So you guys always have had a roster limit.
We only have 28. The year Dylan Olson was here, we had 10 defense. We had 28. Then he left at Christmas, 11. Right, Bruce? That was the biggest group we've had. And we would have had 28 this year if Spicer wouldn't have left. So I'm fine. Some schools out there need to have those. It's part of their admission stuff, right? That's why some of these schools carry 30, 32, right? Like AIC, I know, talking to Eric Lang, I know they're moving down, but that was a big thing for them, right? They'd carry 32 players, but it was part of, enrollment. And yeah, it's probably always nice to have more players, but predominantly we've been 15, 8, and 3. So that's 26. So we'd be fine with that. Mm-hmm.
The majors, how tough have those? You actually haven't taken many majors the last. I feel like two have gotten magnified that you've taken recently because you gave up a couple goals each kill. But in general, the major power plays, what's the difficulty there when you're trying to kill those off?
Obviously, it's just length, like 5 minutes, and it's a free for all. So if they score, it keeps going. So that's obviously tough, and it's just North Dakota had a good power play. So we have to do a better job, obviously not getting in the box, but also sticking to our structure and not just letting them score.
What do you take out of last weekend? It felt like mostly good hockey play, but the mistakes were largely magnified out there.
I would say pretty much for 6 periods of hockey, we had 5 good ones. The second period on Saturday obviously wasn't our best, and that was obviously the 3 goals and the penalty kill that wasn't good. So I think it just comes down to cleaning up, obviously not taking those penalties and just sticking with it. I think those games, especially Friday, could have gone either way. It was a 3-2 game with a minute left, and obviously they got the empty net. So I think we just got to keep pushing to what we are doing. I think we're still trending in the right direction this second half, and going into playoffs, I think we just got to keep the momentum going.
5-on-5, what did you feel like? How did you feel about your game last weekend in Grand Forks?
It was, like I said before, it was pretty even. So I think North Dakota's a good team. So we had a good weekend against Arizona before that. So we definitely have the capabilities of beating those types of teams, and we're just trying to hammer that in the locker room.
What's the focus going into this weekend with Miami coming in?
Obviously, getting 2 wins. It's more than just the games. It's senior night, so it's obviously a big weekend for those guys, and these points are big, especially leading momentum into playoffs. Thanks.